Welcome everybody to a look at the third film in the Agatha Christie collection, a 4K box set from StudioCanal, and it is 1980's The Mirror Cracked. So this is directed by Guy Hamilton, who's most well known for his 4 Bond films that he did: Goldfinger, Diamonds Are Forever, Live and Let Die, and The Man with the Golden Gun. But he was also really good in terms of doing the next film in this box set, Evil Under the Sun, as well as Battle of Britain and An Inspector Calls. So once again, a mystery film, and it clocks in at 106 minutes long, so it's the shortest film in this box set. And yeah, once again, has a pretty damn good cast. Angela Lansbury, Geraldine Chaplin, Tony Curtis, Edward Fox, Rock Hudson, Kim Novak, Elizabeth Taylor, and Charles Gray, who reunites with Guy Hamilton after also being in Diamonds Are Forever. So yeah, Jane Marple, a detective, is called upon to solve a case when a local woman is poisoned to death. Everyone believes that the target was a visiting movie star, but the clues indicate something else. So this is the only film in this box set to not be centered around the detective Hercule Poirot. Instead, it's Miss Jane Marple, more commonly known as just Miss Marple. And yeah, even though this is an overall engaging effort that has a really good cast, several laughs, and a decent mystery at the heart of its plot, it is nonetheless undermined by a few key flaws. The first of which is that Miss Marple isn't in this anywhere nearly as much as you might expect, as she early in the film hurts her foot, so she's kind of laid up for the most part in her house. Does make a decent appearance towards the end of the film. For the most part, it is her, I think it's her son or a relative of some sort, Edward Fox, who does most of the sleuthing basically, and she just talks with him after he's already met suspects and chimes in and tries to come to a conclusion on her own. So yeah, so that's a little bit of a shame to start with. Quite frankly, if it wasn't for the cast, this could easily be mistaken for a TV episode, given it doesn't come across as all that cinematic. The setting is also comfortably less interesting than the Poirot films, and the score doesn't fit the 1953 setting whatsoever, as it's heavily got a lot of saxophone to it, and yeah, more reminding me of City on Fire, which we recently reviewed from our video, which also has a lot of saxophone in it. But that's late 80s, it's an action film, it's set during the time that it's made in, so that doesn't matter. But for this film, a 1953 film, yeah, the idea that a saxophone would be playing such a prominent part in this is quite ridiculous, and it really does take you out of it. It really does make you feel that it's made in 1980 rather than set in 1953. So yeah, that's all of a shame. But that said, it is nonetheless entertaining, especially when Novak and Taylor are spitting feathers at one another, as they are rival movie stars. They do have quite a fiery relationship between one another. Novak, for instance, his character is constantly slating the way that Taylor looks, although in terms of real life, they were only a year apart in terms of age. So yeah, that kind of doesn't really work in that regard. But when you know that, but within the setting of the film, it is really entertaining when they're, you know, spitting lines at one another, undermining each other, insulting each other. There's a whole 5-minute scene or whatever towards the beginning of the film where they're, yeah, just absolutely railing into one another, and it's, yeah, really, really rather fun. It is also well paced, and the period production is convincing enough, but yeah, it's nowhere near as good as the previous 2 films, and that's a little bit of a shame. I was hoping that a Miss Marple film would be a lot better. I don't think there was a theatrically released Miss Marple film outside of this one, so it's a bit of a shame that this is the one that we only get, as yeah, it isn't anywhere near as good as the previous 2, and therefore, yeah, I'm only going to give this a 3 out of 5. Not awful, but could be a lot better. The 4K restoration itself is as good as, well, there's as much work has gone into this as with Death on a Nile, so, over 200 hours of work to get rid of, sparkle and dirt and flickers and everything else like that. Still 4K, 16-bit and such, but yeah, like I said, because it isn't overly cinematic, I can't really tell the difference. I can't really appreciate the 4K restoration as much as Death on the Nile, which genuinely looked excellent, whereas this looks good, but it doesn't look like a lot of work has been done to it, even if there has been. In terms of special features, we've got a new one, Reflections on Miss Marple, featuring Jean Kwok, Ryan Johnson, Matthew Sweet, and Mark Aldridge. So Ryan Johnson's obviously well known for doing his murder mystery films. Knives Out, new one of those out this month. So yeah, be interesting to see his views on this one. And then these other extras, I believe, were part of all the Blu-ray releases. So you got audio commentary by film historians Howard S. Berger, Steve Mitchell, and Nathaniel Thompson. Interview with screenwriter Barry Sandler. Interview with Angela Lansbury. Interview with producer Richard Goodwin. Behind-the-scenes stills gallery, storyboards gallery, and TV spots and trailer. So yeah, a little bit of a downer in terms of the box set overall, but you know, it is a film, like I said, I hadn't seen before buying this box set, so I was always going to see it at some point. But I also had seen the three other films before, knew that I really enjoyed them, so I knew at the end of the day there wasn't much of a gamble in terms of buying this box set. Even if this film was absolutely dreadful, which it isn't, it's perfectly fine. It's just nowhere near as much of a classic as the other two that we've already looked at. And from memory, Evil Under the Sun is even better than this one. So yeah, but nonetheless, thank you for watching. If you have seen this film before, I'd like to hear your thoughts on it. And yeah, I'll see you in the next one. Bye.